Well, joining us now is Nancy Roman, the president and CEO of Partnership for a Healthier America. For decades now, we've seen those images of people starving. Why is this taking place right now?
Well, sadly, there's always been hunger globally. We've never been without it. It's worse now because of what's going on in Ukraine. We have fuel shortages, and we had the pandemic. So those two factors really aggravated a situation that, sadly, we struggle with all the time. But what excites me about this conference is they're focusing not just on hunger, but also on nutrition, the quality of food. And that's critical because they're flip sides of the same coin.
Yeah, and they definitely all connect. Well, President Biden also announced that the $2.9 billion in funding to global food and aid. Where do you think those funds should be addressed to first to solve this issue?
Well, again, we have to separate the two issues, and I appreciated your intro, which touched on both hunger and health. The funds for hunger will very likely go to the United Nations World Food Program, where I used to work. They do amazing emergency work in 75 countries around the world. But here in this country, what we really need is infrastructure for the transport of fruit and vegetables. We really need to incentivize innovation. There are 1 in 6 people in the United States alone for whom food is either too expensive or too far away. And that's a solvable problem. And we really need government to create an enabling environment for the phenomenal innovation that's out there.
Yeah, and it's hard to hear that being one of the richest nations, we are seeing this issue ourselves here in America. Well, based off conversations you've had with families, what is the main struggle to accessing quality food options?
Well, it depends where you are. If you're in a city, it's almost always income. The food is available, but you just can't afford it. In rural areas, it can just be too far away. I mean, we really don't. It's shocking for a world power that we don't have a better food infrastructure. And I think that is part of what we need to be seeing some of these investments address.
All right. Now, your organization has a pretty big goal. It just recently announced it will add 100 million additional servings of vegetables, fruits, and beans to the marketplace around the country by 2025. So that deadline, we still have a few years to go. It's coming up. How do you plan to make this happen?
Well, in ways large and small, we have some direct distribution programs where we make produce available for 12 consecutive weeks because we've learned if people get produce for every single person in the family, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week for 12 successive weeks, they develop a healthy habit of produce. And that's so critical because once the habit is there, the business case is there for the private sector to step in and pick up the baton. And we're doing lots of work in that area as well, partnering with companies who are making a big, big, big difference in all of this. And also to say, I think philanthropy now can be a catalyst for change. You can't sort of food bank your way out of a problem or philanthropy your way out of it forever, but we can catalyze change. We can test things. We can take what we've learned and share it with business so that the innovation, both in large Fortune 500 companies, but also in smaller startups, can really begin addressing some of these problems, which we must do if we want to live healthy and well.
Yeah. And although there were some big announcements made during this meeting, did you expect more?
Well, let's wait till next week. I think it's just the down payment on what's to come. I have high hopes. For one thing, this is raising the issue in people's minds. You're paying attention to this, so the public can too. Part of what we need is for government and business to prioritize public health and to understand and appreciate food as a lever to achieve that public health. And I think this will go a long way toward that.
I like that. The down payment of what's to come. Nancy Roman, thank you so much for your time and your perspective here on our show. We appreciate you.